Okay, so topic we haven't really talked about on our podcast right now. Very relevant though. Um, Talking about VR in general. There's a couple different options out right now. Oculus Rift has finally launched its retail version, and no one really saw it coming. But HTC has released the Vibe, um, and people are getting their hands on them. We're just now exploring the possibility of what these VR games can be. And yeah, I just wanted to take a few minutes, have us discuss kind of the effects that this new way of playing games has on the industry. Did you want to get us started on that, Matt?
Sure. Um, I've actually been really interested in the virtual reality gaming situation and the new ways of gaming that have been coming up. Um, I think everything I've kind of most VR systems I've heard little glimpses or just like little things of news about them. I don't really put too much care in them. There is one VR that I'm actually uh, very interested in, which is the Microsoft HoloLens, and they had a pretty cool demonstration of that. I want to say last year at E3, I think it was either at E3 or Minecon, and they showed some people playing Minecraft, and then they asked the audience, it's like, but what if there was a different way you could play? And the dude comes out with like this cool headset on, and then they had a special camera that allowed them it allowed the audience to see what he saw, and he pretty much went to this table and like a Minecraft stadium or something started to form, and like he started getting like a bunch of Minecraft blocks, and then things were being created, and he could pretty much he had all console commands, could do anything just by speaking them. He could also interact with the character that was being played, and I thought that was really cool. And there's clearly a bunch of other virtual reality games or virtual reality consoles that have been coming out and that have been really popular.
Yeah, one that I didn't mention was PlayStation VR, which is going to be coming out. That seems to be the one of the cheaper options. You can also get, something as simple as Google Cardboard for $20. You can get literally a cardboard headset with a strap, and yeah, if you've got a phone that'll support it, it'll uh, it'll get you in a 360-degree video, maybe play a VR game or two. Um, and speaking to the PlayStation VR specifically, um, I saw a report that there was an engineer who basically said that for PlayStation VR to work, that's really it seemed like that's really the reason why they had to push Neo coming out, the next PlayStation. Um, he basically said VR games on the launch PlayStation 4 were going to be horrible. So yeah, you got to launch PS4 and you're planning on playing PlayStation VR. Uh, Better start saving your pennies because you're probably going to need a new PlayStation for it. Um, so in general, though, I don't want to get too much into that topic. In general, VR has actually it's been around for quite some time. Um, the idea of VR has been around, I want to say, since the 80s, and back in the early to mid 90s, they actually had very rudimentary VR experiences that you could go into, and they even had motion sensing. I remember going to a mall with my dad, and they had a VR demonstration set up. You stepped into this ring, they put a headset on, and you would hold a little. It was kind of like a little fighter jet control, and if you held it out in front of you, you would see like this very crude 3D model of a hand like move 1-to-1 with where you're moving that stick, and then it had a joystick for moving and walking and that sort of thing. So it's been around for a while. It didn't really catch up much in the 90s, or it didn't catch on at all. Whether it was the technology that was too expensive or just too rudimentary, it just didn't go anywhere. And when this talk of VR came up, I kind of thought that, well, I can see that it might have its uses in other industries outside of video games. In the medical field, I think it could be put to good use as far as training people. I mean, Army has been using VR technology for years to train soldiers and put them in simulations. I think that'd be great to use for, you're training medical students to be surgeons one day, and they just need that virtual experience. But I still don't know. Every time it seems like we go through this, oh, it's a new way to play games. Motion controllers with the Wii. I just don't see it really taking off. And another thing I'm reminded of is the Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy, now, before people go off on me and chat or the comments, yes, Virtual Boy was not a virtual reality system. It was a headset where you had to look into to play the game, and the added benefit to that was you got a 3D effect to it. But people are kind of doing the same thing with this VR. They're basically taking the whole world and cutting it off from all around them just to and solitarily enjoy a game. And I have to say, this is also really isn't helping the gamer image as far as, oh, we like to just stay at home and not be social at all. No, we don't. Just I could just see someone sliding the headset down, and just getting lost in no man's land and looking up, people's home addresses and sending them death threats. We're done talking about that, but you get my point, right?
Yes.
Just it doesn't really help gamers' image, and if you don't care about gamers' image, that's fine too. But I just see it having a lot more potential elsewhere. I just don't see it. I don't really see it as far as games go.